Catamount Maple Wheat is a full-bodied, smooth wheat ale brewed with pure Vermont maple syrup. The original recipe was brewed in 2009 by our sales rep, John Baker. He's an avid home brewer, and he thought he'd put his passion for beer together with maple syrup. His family owns a maple syrup farm in East Dummerston, Vermont. He put together a home brew and presented it to Rich and Dan, and they liked it, and the rest is really history. Using a raw ingredient such as maple syrup presents its own challenges. One of the challenges that we had to face was at what point in the brewing process we need to add the maple syrup to utilize it to its full potential. We decided through experimentation over the past couple years that the best point in the process to add the maple syrup was in the whirlpool and the fermenter. We added the maple syrup bucket by bucket in the whirlpool. We also decanted from the 55-gallon drums into 5-gallon buckets, and a couple days into fermentation process, we hauled the 5-gallon buckets full of maple syrup up to the top of the fermenter to add the maple syrup into the process. As you sit down with a pint of Catamount Maple Wheat, you'll first notice the deep amber color, which is achieved through the use of caramel malts and the grade B maple syrup. The second thing you'll notice is a nice beige head, and this can be attributed to the wheat content of the beer. You'll put your nose to the glass and you'll notice the nice subtle caramel notes and the maple aromatic. As you taste this beer, you'll notice the nice caramel notes from the caramel malts and the sweetness, which does come from some of the malts, but also the maple syrup attributes a lot of that sweetness. It's not cloying at all, but when you taste it, it's very well balanced with the Willamette hops. It's a mild aromatic and mild bittering hop, which works very nicely with the subtle notes from the caramel malts and the maple syrup as not to overpower them. When you're at home enjoying this beer and you want to pair it with a meal, I would suggest pork tenderloin, maybe some sweet barbecue, and if you want to finish it with a nice dessert, I would suggest a nice homemade donut with a maple glaze, or vanilla ice cream with a warm maple syrup glaze, or maybe some creme brulee. Cheers.